From your experience as an expert in your field, what is a Christian college? What is Christian higher education as you define it?
So, uh, the term Christian higher education is used to describe a wide range of faith-based institutions. So, I think it's helpful kind of at the outset to make some observations about the universe of religiously affiliated colleges before providing a precise definition of the Christian college, if I
Right.
may.
Yes.
Um, so, according to the United States Department of Education, um, which has a something called the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System, or IPEDS, um, there are 886 institutions in America that have self-identified with some sort of Christian denomination or religious order, and therefore they fall under the label of Christian higher education. But of course, there is significant diversity in institutional commitments and educational approaches within that group. So, to make sense of this institutional diversity, it's helpful to understand a few key concepts. First is the difference between a systemic Christian college and an umbrella Christian college. And this distinction was made by former Wheaton College president Dwayne Lipfin. Lipfin describes the umbrella model as providing a Christian canopy under which one will typically find both a critical mass of voices that represent the sponsoring tradition and a diversity of other voices, including those that represent competing religions or even secular perspectives. So long as those voices that are outside of the tradition respect the broad educational mission of the institution. So one of my previous employers, Duquesne University, would be properly classified as an umbrella institution because you didn't have to identify as Catholic or even Christian to qualify for employment on the faculty of the university. So in contrast, the systemic model uses the Christian vision to weave throughout the fabric of the institution a particular character. So systemic institutions engage the world of ideas from a particular intellectual location, namely that of the sponsoring Christian tradition. And they draw their faculty exclusively from that tradition. So the two other colleges where I worked, Grove City College and North Greenville University, required that all full-time faculty be professing Christians and therefore would properly be classified as systemic institutions. So now, as you may imagine, umbrella institutions are not all the same, and systemic institutions are also not all the same. There is considerable diversity even within these categories. So a second framework that I found very helpful in understanding Christian higher education writ large is a typology that Robert Benny created, a typology of church-related colleges that is helpful, I think, in illuminating the distinctions and the kind of the dividing lines. So Benny divided Christian higher education into four categories. The first two models, the Orthodox and critical mass categories, use the Christian vision as their organizing paradigm. The second two, the intentionally pluralist and the accidentally pluralist, use secular sources as their organizing paradigm. So of these four models, only the Orthodox could be properly classified as systemic, while the critical mass, intentionally pluralist, and accidentally pluralist employ what Lipfin calls an umbrella approach. So when we talk about the Christian college and we get to kind of this definitional question that you raised at the beginning, most people have in mind the systemic or Orthodox model. And these institutions typically align with evangelical rather than mainline Christian denominations. These are places where the faculty live and work from within the Christian tradition, and they approach their academic disciplines from a Christian perspective, integrating faith and learning in the classroom teaching. There are also places where the organization of the student experience follows Christian principles and morality. It's worth noting, however, and important to keep in mind, that there is significant diversity even within this group of institutions. Some require students to be professing Christians. Others simply require students respect the college's rules and sponsoring tradition. Some require students to sign a lifestyle covenant that governs both on and off campus behavior. Others do not. They also vary on a number of the number of chapels a student is required to attend each week, the total number of credit hours that all students must complete in Bible and or theology in order to graduate. But the bottom line is that all of these institutions, regardless of some of the differences, will be dedicated to nurturing Christian character and spiritual growth among their students and exploring the implications of the Lordship of Christ across every area of academic inquiry.